Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to Real Estate Facts. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 8 most asked real estate questions. There's going to be 3 really popular questions that buyers ask all the time, followed up with 5 questions that sellers ask all the time. If you're out in the market right now, you're a first-time home buyer, first-time home seller, or maybe you just haven't done this for a while, this video is definitely for you. My name is Andrew Finney. Please consider me your real estate geek. I am always here to help. My contact information is in the show more description below and always at the end of every video. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to please go ahead and subscribe to this channel and go ahead and like this video. So let's go ahead and lead in with the most asked buyer question number 1. And you've guessed it, it's what is a safe neighborhood? Now, that's a really interesting question because whenever a buyer asks a real estate agent what's a safe neighborhood, you have to consider a few different things. Number 1, everyone's threshold for what is safe and what isn't safe is often different. What one person may consider a nice area of town, one may not consider it a nice area of town. It's highly subjective, and there's actually federal laws in place that prevent real estate agents from answering that questions because it would fall underneath the Fair Housing Act and also steering and also violate the Sherman Antitrust Act. So we as real estate agents aren't actually able to say, hey, over here on this side of town is a lot better, a lot more safe than this area of town. Now what we can do and what you want to ask your real estate agent for are any kind of crime mapping links or any type of additional information that they may have to help you make your best decision as far as what area of town is best for you. At the end of the day, the easiest way to know whether a side of town or an area of town is right for you is simply to get in the car, drive through that area, scope it out at different times of the day, and make up your own mind if that's something that you wish to live in and if that area is going to be good for you and conducive to the lifestyle you wish to lead. So the second most asked question that buyers ask is, how much will the home cost to renovate? Now that's another fun question because as real estate agents, obviously we're here to help you be able to buy or sell a home. At the same time, we are not contractors. There are some agents that may be contractors on the side or come from a general contracting background, but to say how much a home is going to cost to renovate is again highly subjective because consider this, just like when you watch those DIY networks, that's going to come down to what kind of product are you putting in the home? What renovation do you have in mind? What's the grade of the tile, the granite, the flooring that you're going to be putting in? Are you going to be replacing air conditioners? Are you going to be adding insulation? Are you going to be making your home more energy efficient? You're going to be redoing the landscaping. So when you start talking about those type of costs, those are very difficult things to calculate on because it's going to come down to you and what's most important to you. So we as agents won't exactly know how much it's going to cost to renovate, though a lot of us likely know some great contractors that help you get your plan started and in motion. Just simply ask your real estate agent. They'll be happy to provide you with any list of contractors they know, and then you can give them a call and set a time to meet up with them. So the third most asked buying question is, what do you think this home is going to be worth in 5 or 10, 15 years? Essentially predicting the future. Now, while real estate historically will go up, we never know what it's going to do. We saw that in the collapse of the market in like 2008, 2009, where everybody thought it was going to go up, 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 and it went down, 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 down to historic lows. And that really hurt a lot of people. So we can't really forecast the market. What we can do is look at indicators and trends of the market and share that information with you and see if it's going to be the right time for you. Now, whenever you're wondering about how much your home is worth, if you take good care of your home, you maintain your home, you make meaningful improvements to your home, you might want to check out another video I made about renovations that do boost home value. You might want to take a look at that and plan on that for renovations and things that will add value to your home. But simply maintaining your home, doing the right thing, paying your mortgage off every single month, and staying on top of your home maintenance will definitely help your resale value whenever the time comes. Now, going forward into the future marketplaces, we'll see what the market does. Now, again, historically, the rates do increase by 3 to 4% a year over the last, since I've been tracking these numbers for the last 100 or so years. Real estate prices do historically go up. So that's a long-term vision is good, but just know that there's going to be some little pops of bubbles here and there. And when you hear the word bubble, as a side note, don't get freaked out. And the reason being is that when we saw the collapse of the market in 2008, 2009, that's not a normal bubble. That was a catastrophic devastation across many industries. It wasn't just the real estate industry, it was a financial collapse, it was manufacturing, it was industries, it was tech sectors. I mean, everything was crashing. So that's not normal. A normal bubble, you might see somewhere between 2 and 5% depreciation for 1 to 3 years, and then it rebounds and goes higher than that. So just when you hear it, it's just the market balancing itself out. so that buyers can afford the home and sellers can sell their home and actually find another home, because when sellers sell a home, they got to somewhere to go to. So speaking of sellers, we're moving into the next 5 set questions are all about the sellers and what kind of questions they normally ask the most. So selling question that gets asked the most is, what is my home worth? That's an awesome question, and if you're looking for just a general estimate, you have Zestimates, you have different Redfin estimates, you have your real estate agent. Real estate agents normally have a lot of interesting algorithm tools that we can use for a general ballpark figure that may or may not be completely accurate. But for the most accurate estimation of what your home is worth, what you want to do is you actually want to find a great listing agent or a great agent to work with by checking their reviews and the ratings, checking out specialized designations and their past performance. And just as a quick side note, when you're looking for a great real estate agent, make sure they're closing at least 12 or more deals a year. If they're doing that, they're always in the process. They're going to be up on what your current legislation looks like in your area, and they're going to be able to better assist you. So that being said, when you're asking what your home is worth, we need to see your home. We need to go in your home. We need to chat with you, figure out what's most important to you about selling your home. What price do you have in mind, and then compare it to the numbers and see what's going on there. Now, if you did do some of those meaningful improvements and the numbers and your comparables, that's what they're called, or comparables, the comparable sales history in your community don't support that, we have other tools that we can help add back the value and see where it's at and what it's averaging as far as a rate of return in your location, and then give it a shot. Now, the interesting thing is that would be an estimated fair market value. Obviously, when you go into the closing process or escrow, depending on what area of the country you're in, you're going to be having a home appraisal, unless it's being paid for by cash and the cash person says, I don't want an appraisal. Most homes are going to be appraised, and when the home is appraised, that whatever the appraiser says the value is at the end of the day, that's what it's going to end up being as far as the amount of the loan that the buyer can afford. So be realistic with that, be honest with yourself, and be honest with the market, and you'll have a great time selling your home and knowing exactly how much your home is worth whenever you get ready to sell. Generally a pretty good idea to start getting a read on the market if you're planning on selling 1 to 2 months in advance, so you can go ahead and find that great real estate agent to work with, and you can go ahead and start getting your home staged, get it decluttered, and get it ready to go. So the second most common question that sellers ask is, why can't I just sell my house on my own? Well, you can. It's called for sale by owner, and if you really want to go down that road, you can. Just be ready that you're going to have to be facilitating all the showing schedules. You're going to have to be facilitating the documentation, which is going to be tricky unless you have an attorney or something like that processing it for you. There's definitely an option there, but there's a lot of other things that go into a real estate agent's services as far as marketing your home. I mean, this is what we do full time. So, and if you don't have, unless you're retired and you've done this several times and you don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to it, then that may not be the best option, because statistically speaking, there was a National Association of Realtors report, I'll go ahead and put that link in the show more description below as well, about for sale by owners only sell about 94% of the time. So that means, 94% of the time they don't sell. So that means only 6% of the time a for sale by owner will actually sell. And generally when they sell their home, it's for a lot less than what they could have got with using a real estate agent. So again, I'm going to put that link down below for you to check it out. It'll have some other cool stats and stuff in there for you to look at as well. It's one of those things that you got to really know what you're doing. You got to have that marketing plan of action in place. You got to have that showing process in place. You got to have that negotiation ability ready to go, and you got to be ready to do what you need to do. So the third most commonly asked selling question is actually, why do real estate agents get paid so much money? And it's a pretty interesting question, and it's a fair question, I think, and everybody deserves to know. So first of all, most agents, there's another National Association of Realtor report that says most agents only close anywhere from 3.7 homes. If they're been in the business less than 3 years, the average agent will close like 3.7 homes per year. If they've been in the business 5 years or greater, they've closed something like 10 or 11 homes a year. So if that's the case, then they're really not making nearly as much money as you think you do, as you may think that they do. And in fact, a lot of studies should suggest that on average, real estate agents earn about $36,000 to $42,000 a year. So you see those commissions and you're like, well, you know, my home's worth $350,000. And as a fictitious example, let's use a commission of 6%. And again, just a fictitious example here for the purpose of illustrating this point. So if you have a $350,000 home and you multiply it by 6%, what do you get? You get $21,000, right? So with $21,000, you're going to, right off the top, you're going to say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Is my listing agent getting paid out that money? Nope, they aren't. So that $21,000 right off the top gets split in two. So now you're down to $10,500, right? Now, depending on what that agent's split is with their brokerage, let's say it's 50%, just for easy math purposes, then that means the agent's going to get $5,250 and the brokerage is going to get $5,250. Of that $5,250 that the agent actually receives, they get to pay the taxes, they get to pay their expenses for marketing your home to sell your home. They also get the opportunity to have to pay for the operation budget, and then whatever's left is whatever they're going to be able to take home. But a smart real estate agent is going to be putting a percentage of every closing aside for their business to continue growing their business, and also the services that they provide to you to help you sell your home or help somebody buy a home. So at the end of the day, that's what it happens. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes into selling a home. That's why the commissions are what they are, and the agent doesn't make nearly as much money as you think at the end of the day, or as you may think at the end of the day. So it's important to think about that. Not all of us are on $1 Million Listing Agent on HGTV, DIY, Bravo, or wherever the heck they're at, earning all that money. I mean, those agents are, first of all, those agents have been in business for many years. They got a lot of connections and a lot of hookups and a lot of opportunities for doing what they do, and they're dealing with highly uncommon sales prices. So anyways, that's a side note. You got a question about that, shoot me an email. So the fourth question that sellers ask the most is, how's the market? And now that's an awesome question, and that's really where the conversation should go with it first. Before you know how much your home is worth, you probably want to know, how's the market doing? Depending on what market you're in, whether you're in a seller's market, buyer's market, or a normalized market. And just to be clear, if you got less than like 4 months of inventory in your current marketplace, you're in a seller's market. If you got an excess of 6 months of inventory in your market, you're leaning towards a buyer's market. And if you're somewhere in between 5 to 7 months of inventory, you have a more stable market. So when you hear those terms, inventory and the months associated with it, it's important to understand that if you're saying that you have 5 months of inventory and the market's more stable, then your average days on market for selling your home are going to be significantly greater, going back to why don't you exactly want to sell your home yourself, and the full-time efforts that are going to go into selling your home. It can take months to sell a home, and then when you go into the closing process, depending on where you are in the country, whether you're in attorney state, non-attorney state, you can be looking at anywhere from 30 days to 50-60 days to close on a loan or on a home rather. And if that's the case, I mean, that's a long time. So then you start averaging out that $5,250 from our example that the real estate agent got paid, and you spread that over, now let's say it took 4 months. Well, that means the agent earned for selling your home was grossing before taxes about $1,200 a month. So again, take that into consideration whenever you're thinking about that. So how's the market is a great question, and you definitely want to be asking that before you ask what your home's worth, because that's what's going to help dictate at least ways what the trends were, what kind of pricing strategy that you may want to go for. I've done a lot of videos about home buying and home selling. I suggest you take a look at them. Send me any questions that you may have. I absolutely love hearing from you. So the fifth and final question for today's video that sellers ask the most is, how do I know my timing is right? Ultimately, the timing is going to come down to you. It depends on what your goals are, what your intentions are. I mean, why are you selling the house, and what's your next step? Asking these questions and understanding this as a real estate agent are critically important so that we know how best to help you. Please be very open and honest with your real estate agent so that they know how best to plan out with you, ask you the questions that are going to be most impactful to help you and your family succeed with your next step. By understanding that, we're able to put a plan in motion, we're able to put a time frame in motion, and we know exactly what we need to do to be able to better assist you. Ultimately, the timing is always right whenever you're ready. Whether it's a seller's market, buyer's market, or flat market, the timing really comes down to you. And that's really what it is. If you're saying timing of the market, I want to get the most out of my property. Look, if I had $1 for every time a seller told me that they wanted to get the most out of their home as possible, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now. But I'm not. But if I did, that's how frequently that question is asked. I've never heard a buyer that wants to overpay for a property, and I've never heard a seller say they want to take less for the property than it's worth. So the timing ultimately comes down to you, your motivations, your goals, your intentions, and what your next step in life is, and being very clear on the reasons why you're selling your home. If you think you want to put your home on the market just to test the market, don't do that. Realistically, don't do that, because all that does is set false expectations for yourself and false expectations for the buyers in the market. Your home probably won't even get shown that much if it's very overpriced or something. If you're serious about selling your home, you have a goal for selling your home, and you're clear on why you want to sell your home, that's the right time to sell your home so that it fits in in with your plans for your life and what's going on. So today's video has been the 8 most commonly asked real estate questions. If you have any questions about this, I'm going to put my contact information up. Please feel free to reach out to me and ask me any additional questions. If you have an idea for another video or something, let me know. I always enjoy hearing from you. Now, going back to the beginning of the video, if you learned something new from this video, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to the channel. Number 2, please like this video. And number 3, please share this video around with somebody you know would be able to help. Thank you so much for watching today, and in between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours all the love, wealth, abundance, and happiness in the world. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.